Okay, so we're going to start with our cards again from We're Not Really Strangers, a recommendation by our own Alex 2.0.
Have you played this game before?
Yeah, plenty
Nice.
of times.
It's Al's favorite go-to thing right now.
Well,
and I love
it's
it.
kind of spreading, right?
Yeah.
Because Tammy loves it. I see like multiple boxes in the room, multiple red boxes. So we got 3 categories. 3 isn't like a great category at the moment for some reason. We're not getting great questions, but 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can ask me first, and then I'll ask you second.
Okay. Selecting my card. Oh, deep.
Okay.
What has been your earliest recollection of happiness?
My earliest recollection of happiness. When I moved to America,
How old were you?
I was 2 years old.
Wow.
So me and my twin sister were 2. My older brother was 7.
How old was your twin sister?
I almost answered that like seriously. Like, well, I am 5 minutes older than her.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we were 2. My brother's 7. Then I had my parents with me and my grandma and my uncle. Your typical like immigration story where like the first apartment that we lived in, we had to put a towel underneath the doorway so that cockroaches wouldn't get in.
Ah, I thought so. You couldn't let the smoke out. Not a hot box thing.
Yeah, the whole family was hot
I
boxing.
just thought, mate, I don't know. Right, gotcha.
Okay, and that's exactly why we're so happy. What had happened was, I don't even know why it's so happy, but I think it's happy because we love talking about it. I was running around the house, and I was just having the zoomies, and we're just in the apartment, and I ran past one of the dresser drawers, and it wasn't anchored at the top, so it was very like unstable. And I ran past it, knocked it over, and it pinned me between the mattress of the room and the fucking shelf thingy,
Yeah.
the dresser drawer. And I'm screaming for help because I'm like 3 years old and I think I'm gonna die. And
This
then,
is supposed to be a good memory, by the way.
but I'm
you're
getting
getting
to
there,
it.
yeah, no,
I'm
okay,
getting
gotcha,
into it.
gotcha.
And my brother walks into the room, and he just laughs. He doesn't even help me at all. And he's calling in my sister and other people to go into the room too. Finally, my mom walks in, and then she's panicking. She thinks I'm dying. Just for the rest of my life, even up till to this day, my brother and sister give me shit for that, of how like I was just this like spastic monster who got what was coming to him, and they did not help me one bit. That's what makes it happy.
I'm still waiting for the happy bit, man.
What makes
Sounds
it
pretty dark.
What makes it happy though is that we all of us, like even my mom, who's like always pissed about hearing about it, we all have a good time, like a really good laugh talking about it anytime we're just like having downtime in the house or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's like our go-to memory for everyone to have like a good laugh.
And you still remember that as a 2-year-old?
Hell yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like scary as shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that would be scary.
It was I mean, I'd only lived for two and a half years up until that point, but I felt like I saw my whole life flash before my eyes.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I think it's just crazy that you can remember something at 2.
I think,
don't think I
can you
can.
cannot?
No.
Your earliest memory is like 4 or 5 or what?
Maybe the issue is I don't know. I can't really associate years with memories.
Okay.
But I've seen like videos of me on a camcorder
Okay.
not that long ago at 2, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all.
So
Or
like-
even that era of life.
Okay.
I don't remember it.
So if you never saw the video, you wouldn't
Even
know.
seeing the video, I'm like, that's just don't remember that.
You can't go back to that moment.
No, even memories at like 6, 7, 8.
No.
That I see videos, I'm like, oh shit, I don't remember that.
This is where, like, as a parent, like, I wonder how my kids are going to be when they're adults, thinking about their childhood, knowing that everything is documented
Yeah.
in a way that my childhood never was. Of course, we had a camcorder, but it's not like every day there was something that
No.
we documented, and we have that,
Yeah.
like on the cloud.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
See how that one transpires. Cool.
Ready for yours?
Yes, I am. I'm glad you didn't ask me that question because I would have struggled to know what my earliest memory was.
Did you ask me a number first?
I took 2.
Took 2. Oh, okay, let's be fair. I'll give you 2 as well.
Okay.
Huh. Very similar question, but different.
Yeah.
And here's why. What's been your happiest memory this past year? Which is really interesting because we're only 31 days.
Okay, yeah. So not the last 12 months, the last 2024.
Yes.
Happiest memory of 2024.
Yeah, big year.
Yeah, it really has only been 1 month. What's happened? There's been some good memories.
Okay.
Some great events.
Yeah.
I have to say the athlete camp is was just a really good experience, really good
For
vibes for me. Yeah. For me, terrible for you. Chris was like stage 1 pneumonia. But anyway, for me, that was a really great memory. I always struggle with these questions when it says pick one.
Yeah.
Like pick the best or pick the worst. Cebu was also a great experience. I mean, just the Philippine trip, generally speaking, was a great experience. Like Thailand was a pretty damn good experience as well with my family. I've had a very good January, actually.
Yeah.
Best one, so tough to pick. They're all bloody good, but I'll say the athlete camp because it's at the forefront of my mind, which just happened.
Forefront because it's the most recent.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Pretty damn cool experience.
Do you look back on this athlete camp differently than previous athlete camps?
I've never had a bad athlete camp. Like I've only had really great experiences from athlete camps. But what made this athlete camp unique in my experience was that I had the biggest team that I've ever had executing preparing the camp with. I
actually had a moment with you on the bus. Was like,
Yeah.
I asked like a question about lunches or something, and you're like, Chris, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
That's Karan's job.
Yeah.
And then you were so relaxed about it because you didn't have to worry about anything. And I think you did say that like this was the first year where your hands weren't on every single task.
Yeah. It was the most I was just able to be very present throughout
Yeah.
the whole camp. It was like the most stress-free camp I've ever had. I think we prepared for it as a team really well. I took much more of a role of just kind of like coordinating.
Yeah.
And just making sure the team was working together, really.
Yeah.
And so I think because of that, I was able just to really enjoy it. I was able to like really just watch athletes work out. Watch my coaches and you like crush their jobs, share like good moments.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I'm tying a lot of really good memories to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that sense, that made it unique. We did lots of new things as well. We brought breakout groups back into it, which I love.
Okay.
A pretty iconic workout in Repulse Bay. It was cool, like getting everyone on a bus, not knowing where we were going.
Yeah.
And then like whipping out aqua bags and like running up and down a beach. That was pretty cool. Yeah. So, and the sun was shining on Saturday and Sunday, which just made it even better.
A warm January.
It was a warm weekend.
Yeah.
Freezing now.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, there's just lots of good things.
Nice. I mean, that's a good tone setter for the rest of the year for a lot of different reasons. But the one that speaks to me right now is, well, because I am part of the team, is the idea of like, this is why having a good team that you can trust is so important for everyone. Not just you as, the person that's coordinating the camp and directing the camp, but if everyone has a great experience and everyone sees the work that they put in and they see that they came with purpose and they achieved that purpose, that's so huge for that moment, but also in this case, the rest of the year.
Yeah. And one of my biggest goals for 2024, which I had set at the end of 2023, was to just be a better manager. And what I mean by that is I think in the last few years, I put a lot of work into learning how I can be a better leader. But I guess when I say the word like leader or I think about leadership, I'm thinking about building relationships. That's a hard one to actually define. Like, how do I define leadership? I mean, leadership would mean basically getting people to follow you, like leading the way. It's essentially what leadership I think is defined as. But when I talk about management, I feel like the management side of things is something I wasn't executing that well. And what I was realizing at the end of last year, teams growing, right? The team's always growing. We've got so many different pieces to our pie, right? We've got the individual coaching course and we've got loads of great ideas within education. We've got our online subscribers and we really wanted to grow that and host things like athlete camps and connect with our athletes across the world. We've got the affiliate program, which we want to we have really lofty goals with that. And then we've got coastal fitness here. Like we've got so many different things. And the last year was about getting the right people in the right positions to be running those things. But I felt like what I wasn't doing very well was actually managing them, like giving them accountability, setting goals together, praising good work when it was done. And not every 3 months when you have like a sit down and a catch up, like I want to catch people doing things more regularly, doing good things more regularly,
and be able to like speak to it specifically.
Yeah. And then, you know, and also the same on the same, like the other side of the coin, if people aren't executing their jobs, to be able to give them support, help, you know, hold them accountable to making sure that we're doing a great thing here. So at the end of last year, you know, just really thinking about the business and, you know, what I could do better and what we're lacking. And I think I just landed on this idea that, you know, management is actually an area I haven't really learned all that much in. Most of my learning's just come through experience and trial and error. And this was an area that I really wanted to step up in. So I dug into the books, started really like consuming a lot of information around management.
Yeah.
And I think the athlete camp was testament to like the first bit of like effective management coming to fruition. Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited about management in the sense that like, yes, I came from a corporate background and I was managing quite a few teams at that point. And it's definitely stressful and there's a lot on your shoulders in that way. And there's that leadership element. But when you are effectively managing this in the sense that you're talking about, where you get to trust people to do their job and to be responsible for certain things and then see that thrive and see the results of that shine and being able to say, hey, you did this, great job on that. And even on the other side of that, like, hey, we tried this is what we need to work on. And giving those opportunities to grow each and every time with those specific items. Yeah, man, like management can be really, really engaging.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've always been looking for ways to be a better manager.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I have some tools and some actual focus points on things that I know I can actually do.
Nice.
And it feels a little less overwhelming.
Nice.
So yeah, you know, we already implemented those things and bringing it back to the camp. You know, this was the first time I was able to give 3 of my coaches like lead positions within the camp. And that was super cool. They crushed it.
Yeah.
And that was just awesome to see that, you know, we've got a great team of people who are very like-minded and on the same page with regards to what we're trying to do here. So yeah,
perfect.
good times.
That's what we call the cold open.
Okay, that's a cold open.
That's my open.
So what is a cold open?
Cold open is you just go straight into the conversation without introducing. But we can go back into the introduction, as it were.
Oh, I like it. Okay, introduction now. Now it's back on me. Okay, so we are here. We're here to talk about something that's happening in how many days, Chris, by the time this episode comes out?
When this episode comes out, it will be announced, the first workout, in 24 days.
In 24 days. So 24 days after this podcast comes out, the CrossFit Open is starting.
Yep, 24.1.
24.1. You and I are no strangers to the CrossFit Open. As an organization, our whole year is really built around this time. Our whole business is really built around this time of the year.
Yeah.
You know, we're peaking athletes to the CrossFit Open, the quarterfinals, semifinals, CrossFit Games, and the Open is step one of the qualifying process for those who are looking to progress further. So we thought that this was a good time to talk about the CrossFit Open.
That's right.
And I know you've got some thoughts and ideas or questions that we're going to use for discussion. So
this will be an open discussion.
I'm going to flip this microphone back to you, Chris, and you're going to kick us off.
Okay, so I guess we can start on that point first of all, is where we are personally with the Open, gives us a little bit of personal context. This will be my 7th or 8th Open. My first Open was 2017.
I have stats here, by the way. So
he has the data.
You can't escape the facts.
17,
your
18,
first
19.
CrossFit Open was 2017.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is going to be your 8th CrossFit Open.
This is my 8th, and this is your...
This is my 11th CrossFit Open.
So the opening question is kind of where are you at right now? I mean, this is not our first dance, and 11 is a lot. And you're going to be doing it again, right? You're going to be doing the Open again.
Yeah,
I'll be doing the Open again. Like, why are you doing it after so many years? Where are you at physically and mentally with the Open right now? Yeah, let's just start with that.
Yeah. I mean, why I do the CrossFit Open every year? I think there's many reasons. One of them is that I love competition.
Sure.
Like the competition has been a part of my life the whole time. And what I like about competition, because I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but the thing I like about competition is that when you compete, the focus in that moment, on that day, in the days leading up to it, is solely to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I can't liken competing to training, because when I'm training is a small part of a very busy day with lots of other priorities and things that I'm put my energy and time towards. When it comes time to competing, I put all my eggs, all my chips in one basket. And because of that, that is an opportunity for me to really see what I'm capable of. So the amount of less every time I compete, whether it's the CrossFit Open or it's High Rocks or it's an in-person event, whatever it is, I always learn something about myself. I learn something about myself in terms of like where my actual physical capacities are at.
Right.
Like I can always unlock, like much higher levels of performance when I'm competing I can when I'm training. And obviously like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like when you do really hard things and you get very close to discomfort, there are just the voices in your head and how you deal with them. I feel like so many carryovers to other parts of my life.
So these like aspects you can't really replicate unless it's in a competition format.
Yeah, and I know competitions like I still get anxiety over it. And I still get the shits leading up to it, and I'm it still takes me weeks, sometimes months to bounce back from it, but in my opinion, it's worth it for the lessons and the goodness that comes out of it. It's a worthwhile trade-off.
Okay.
I will also say it keeps me relevant as a coach. Like me going through putting myself through the experience that all of our affiliate members around the world go through, all of our online subscribers, all the athletes that I coach are going through. It upgrades my prescription on how I can coach and help those guys better.
Right.
Because I'm doing the same thing with them. Allows me to connect with the community, like doing hard things with others. There's just like this strange bond that gets created when you're doing that.
Especially to the specificity of that exact workout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the more specific it is, and you just have like common language and experience to bond and share over. But also the fact that you're going through something really hard, and that there's all these other people who are going through something hard, and you're doing that together. Just like it just further strengthens and deepens relationships. And like I'm all about relationships, right? And we are all about relationships. That's what we do. And mate, it's a way to like validate my training in a way. Not validate my training. What I don't mean by that is that I don't have to compete to train.
Okay.
But it just confirms what I need to work on next year, because I love doing the CrossFit Open. I've already given a lot of reasons why I'm going to keep on doing it for as long as I possibly can. But it gives me a chance to confirm what I really need to work on, what I don't need to work on, how I should bias my training. And it just gives me focus, not only in the lead up, but also when the season's done. It gives me focus on something to work towards next year. And I like that. I like having something to work towards. And when I say work towards, I'm not saying that I'm trying to get to CrossFit Games. Like that's not a goal of mine. Even like qualifying to semifinals in the age group, which actually looking at my stats last year, I wasn't that far off. But that's not a goal of mine either. Okay. It's just all the things I've talked about.
Right.
That's why I do it.
I think the nice part then in that case is when you have these standardized workouts, you can't really hide any of your weaknesses. Like they will come out, and then it'll help inform your training for what it is that you need to pay attention to. And in the same token, you can take a look at that with the rest of the community on the process programming and be able to prescribe accordingly.
Yeah. And I think also the cool thing about CrossFit Open is that what the CrossFit Open prescribes typically dictates how people train the next year. So in the quarterfinals last year, they brought crossovers out.
Yep.
Everyone's been doing crossovers this whole year, but that's been cool for me because it's like there's a new element to skipping versus just doing double unders. And, I've done 10 years of doing double unders every single week. It's nice to have a new challenge put into training and to know that I'm doing this for a reason, not just because it's variation for variation's sake, because this might come up and get tested and therefore I want to be proficient in the test. So I also like that side of things as well. Before I talk about where I'm at, physically and emotionally around it, I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
Why do you do the CrossFit Open?
Why do I do the CrossFit Open? I have very much a competitive history as well. So when I was in high school, I was on the wrestling team, and I did a little water polo, and I sucked at it. And then I was on the swim team, which I quite enjoyed. And then after that, I got into triathlons. So for me, competition is the natural motivator for my training. If I don't have something to build up towards, then my ability to kind of stay with the process of the training, it wavers to an extent. I think I could still put in the work, but for me, it's like I don't value it as much unless I knew I had something that I was working towards. So the Open is going to be one of them for sure. And for me, the Open is a special one because everyone who's involved in the sport one way or another is going to be doing that. So, I can compare myself to everyone I can connect with everyone. You put a hashtag of a 2 digits, and then the word points and another digit, and then you see so many people posting about the same workout, to the extent that even people who are not involved in CrossFit, they see these hashtags and whatever, and they're thinking, what the hell is going on these like last few weeks? So it's kind of like, I liken it to like being on the inside of an inside joke, and being able to connect people that way about the things that you're kind of struggling with at the same time. So it keeps me relevant from the perspective of community more than anything. So yeah, the competition is important as well. And I have aspirations to still be at the top of my physical game in the sport that I'm involved in right now, which is CrossFit. But at the same time, it's the easiest form of connecting to other people that I otherwise would not have an opportunity to connect with.
Yeah.
So that for me is the biggest one.
Love it. And let me ask you now, where are you at physically and mentally? The CrossFit Open coming up.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, for a little bit of context, where I'm at physically right now is I'm in a really good place, because the last 2 weeks I had flu for 1 week, and then we had the athlete camp, and then I was sick again, and that ended up being pneumonia. So I had 2 weeks where I was just not healthy, to the point where it was like every day I'd be waking up and like, I'm not working out today, and I feel like shit today, got a fever today, I'm coughing my lungs out today. All these different markers of like, whoa, for most of the year, you did not have any of these problems at all. So I do have this renewed appreciation for the things that I can do. Like even today when we were training this morning, doing some snatches and muscle ups and toes to bar and handstand push-ups, just the ability to do that and to be able to express physicality, and to show that I have a good awareness of my body and that we can like connect in that way. I'm fired up for the Open just because of that.
Nice.
So that's where I am at physically and mentally.
Can I ask you, getting that sick?
Yeah.
Probably that's the sickest you've been probably in a very long time.
Oh, very
right?
long time.
Getting that sick, or just getting sick full stop,
Yeah.
this close to the Open.
Yeah.
Any like anxiety, fear? What is this going to mean about my performance?
Yeah. It's a good question. I don't think so. Because I think for the most part, 2 weeks, I really don't think is going to derail me from the progress that I've made for the rest of for the year previously. And I feel like even going to things today with, doing snatches and all the other movements, I feel good enough to be able to show up and still put in my best work and not be worried about, okay, maybe this year I'm not as high up on the leaderboard, but I'm still trusting that I'm doing the best that I could be doing, and that, I'm following my strategies and my protocols, and that I'm putting my best foot forward every time I try the workout.
Has that been your mindset around the CrossFit Open and competition ever since you got into sport?
No. I think I don't know if other people feel this way, but your first Open or my first Open, I came in with a very like open mindset of like, this is just gonna be fun. We're gonna do these tough workouts, and we'll fall on the floor afterwards, and then we'll just be able to joke about it afterwards. The second year was like this sophomore slump, in the sense that now I started taking it way too seriously. So I went on the other side of the spectrum of like, all right, now we have a leaderboard. Now I have to improve from that year. And then, workout standards change every year, and I'm still new to the sport. And I was really frustrated by, the forearm measurement that we had for the handstand push-ups, and I just could not finish a rep. And I got really in my head about that, and I got upset over it, and I really didn't like the mindset that I had at that time. So then it was just more about revisiting, like, why is it that I'm actually doing this? And if it is really about kind of showing the work that I put in, but also connecting with the community, then
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, like all the other pressures aren't really there. Yeah, I've been sick, and yeah, I'm rusty in certain parts, and my capacity, I guess, has decreased. But even though we are 24 days out, I feel like that's enough time for me to kind of get back into gear without pushing too hard. So my intensities are reduced today, and it'll still be that way for the rest of the week until I feel ready to increase that intensity. But yeah, I feel really good about things, because I feel like my relationship currently with exercise is in a pretty good place.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like you're not tying anything outside of your control to what's going to make a successful Open for you.
Yeah, but then I guess that's going to be a struggle that everybody has, right?
Well, I think it's certainly a struggle that you've had. It's 100% a struggle that I've had in a very similar story starting out. And I think a lot of people do struggle with this. But I think, when you can get to the place where actually the success, what defines whether or not you had a successful Open is linked totally to things within your control. Things like strategy, preparation, execution, mindset, effort. And if you can do that, then God, it's such an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
With that said, as athletes, it's a tough one, because athletes who are vying for places and, trying to get top spots to qualify to the next round. At the end of the day, all they have to do, if they want to unlock their best performance, really they should be focusing on themselves and the things within their control. However, they need to be wary of where they sit within a leaderboard, because one rep at a CrossFit Open workout could be 500 places on the leaderboard, and that could be the difference between qualifying and not. So I can also understand why it's tough for those guys to not get caught up in that. For those guys that are not really concerned about the Open, that becomes more of something to think about with things like quarterfinals and semifinals, but still.
Well, with the Open coming up as the first step, that being the phase of the season where anyone can be involved, right? Whether it's your first or your 15th Open, the participation is huge. So that means the ability levels are all over the place. You have people who can do every movement that there is at a good standard, and you have people who are going to have to scale half the movements, and they're going to have to figure out how to be able to just finish the workout at all. So with that in mind, I guess a good question I'd like to ask now is, with the relatively limited time that we have, 24 days,
you didn't ask me how I was feeling about the CrossFit Open, by the way.
Oh, well,
Chris, I only asked you the question because I wanted to get asked back.
Wait, I thought we talked about how you're feeling physically and mentally.
No, it's going to come back to me.
Okay. Do you want to go over that real quick?
Yeah, I'd like to share. I would like to share, because I think it's important that people hear how we do, and the things that we have to navigate as coaches ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm also feeling pretty average at the moment.
Oh, you know what? I actually wanted to ask about that. This is going to be your first Open post stem cell surgery.
Yes.
So how much of a factor is that playing for you physically and mentally, knowing that you have that to deal with?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew that when I got stem cells, it will probably be about 7 months by the time the Open rolls around.
Yeah.
And the regeneration process is up to 1.5 years. So I knew that I wouldn't be at the end of the healing process. But also the way I always look at injuries and something like stem cells, you just got to take every day, one day at a time.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, my knee feels pretty good. My right knee feels pretty good. It's my good knee, my left knee, which feels terrible right now. But I also know that is a result of all the travel that we've been doing recently. Yeah. Big work events like the athlete camp, sleeping in 5 different beds over 2 weeks.
Not a lot of consistency this month.
Not a lot of consistency. Actually, over the last, when I really look back, this started November last year. Bangkok Throwdown, Dubai Fitness Championships, etc., etc. So I felt like these small little niggles in my left knee, kind of just building up, but never getting to a point where it's bad enough to stop me really doing anything. I just have to have some days where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to snatch or jerk today. I'll just do upper body. Yeah. And then post athlete camp, came into train on Monday, and it just felt awful. But I also know that my sleep has been terrible for 2 weeks. I'm just not sleeping well right now. I think I have with everyone being sick around me, I think I've got that virus is trying to get into my system.
Yeah, I know.
And my immune system's just doing a great job right now, touch wood, of fighting it. But I'm definitely getting to nighttime, and I'm all the allergies break out, itchy throat, runny nose, itchy eyes, toss and turn all night, can't get my body temperature right. I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold. And if my sleep's not right, then I know that everything else goes to shit.
Right.
So right now, same boat as you. I'm just taking it easy. Took it easy last week. The plan was to take it very easy this week. I probably pushed it a little bit too hard yesterday doing the Aerobic Tuesday session.
Well, yeah, I was wondering, do you ever feel the pressure of, the Open is coming up, and I can decide again to pull things back, but at some point I got to push.
For sure. I'm definitely feeling that pressure a little bit now. And it's only pressure on myself, because it's I've trained all year for this, right? Yeah. And I want to be able to express myself when the CrossFit Open comes around. And a part of me is why now? But at the same time, I've connected the dots, and I know why I'm feeling this way right now.
Yeah.
This time of the year is super exciting for me because I get to compete, but it's also the busiest time of year. Like we have so much on in the fact that we're helping loads of other people do the Open that I find that my training gets kind of squeezed and pushed into like a lower priority within my day. And that's always just been the case, and I'm aware of that. But it's funny because I'm putting pressure on myself to whereas, I would have really listened to my body. If this was 2 months ago or a month ago, I'd be like, nah, knees sore, sleep's crap.
Right.
Just take it really easy, get your health back on track. But now I'm like, oh shit, but I only have 4 weeks to CrossFit Open. Like maybe I don't take it as easy as I probably should. I'm going to push it a little bit. And that's just silly, actually. Like that's not serving me at all. And after today, I definitely went a bit too hard again. I just made the call at the end of training. I'm like, okay, right. The goal is to get this knee healthy again. To get this knee healthy again, I need to get healthy again, which means like I need to chill the hell out. What can I actually manipulate in my day? Work's going to be busy. Can't change that. Okay, my training time, I can definitely reduce the intensity there. So this is one area where I can control. I'm trying to increase my sauna work, increase my meditation, increase my recovery protocols at night. So I'm going to step all that up. And the goal is just to get healthy again. Because, you're right. You said it perfectly. Like I've done 11 years of this consistently, really without a break. I'm not going to lose fitness in 2 weeks.
No.
And at the end of the day, like my goal this year is that I want to get to quarterfinals, have fun with the community there. Top 25%. I've always finished in the top 1% really of the world. Should I be worried about not making 25%? No, like have some perspective here. So this has been a good, again, what I was talking about, the beauty of competition and why I do it. This is one of those reasons. It's like I'm getting reminded of the things that my athletes and our clients struggle with all the time. Things that we're navigating right now. And, we see people just doing way too much this time of year, not listening to their body. Open rolls around, they're broken, they're injured, they're beat up, they're ill, they're sick, which has been me many times in the past. And it's good for me to have that and be like, okay, well, how are you going to navigate it?
Right.
And, what are the psychological struggles that I'm experiencing and how can I navigate it? So
it is always funny to seeing that is where, yes, there's always going to be external factors. There's never going to be a perfect time to do anything.
No.
Right? Like whatever it is that's happening in your life, like, I remember when my wife and I were talking about having a kid for the first time, there was never a perfect time to do it, but then we just did it and then it worked out. In that same sense, if we're talking about something like the Open or whatever competition, you're always going to have like a cold the week before. You're always going to have maybe like just this weird feeling in your elbow or something. And these are factors that may or may not be in our control, but the part that is definitely in our control is what's happening between our ears with that, with that in mind. And you can choose to acknowledge it and move on, or you can choose to let it kind of live in your head and have it affect everything that you're doing and press you to do things that may compromise you even further, like making sure you're working out harder every day as you get closer to the Open, right?
I just brought it back to my why. Like, why am I actually doing this? And I've already listed a lot of reasons why I do the Open every year, but what makes me enjoy the Open the most is when I'm healthy and I'm able to do the workouts. I'm not in pain. I'm bouncing back fast, and my life continues as normal between workouts.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're just like beat up, and which I've had a lot of Opens experiencing that, it's not as fun. And so, just had to remind myself that today. So what is the actual goal? Is it training today and going hard, or is it, being healthy over those 3 weeks and then, doing the CrossFit quarterfinals, being healthy, bouncing back to life straight after? That's the goal. So reminded to myself, that's why you're doing this, Ed. Prioritize your health right now. Take it easy.
Okay. So you feel like you're on that course right now?
Yeah, I needed today. Today was the reminder.
Yeah.
When I finished that workout, I was breathing like pretty hard. I'm like, this wasn't. I set out for this to be a recovery session, and it wasn't. I didn't really need to do wobbles today. I could have just rested my knee a little bit more, even though it didn't really hurt. It probably didn't do me any favors.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, it happens to the best of us, really, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to dabble in the waters, to see how far is too far.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I didn't push it too far where I'm worse than I was before the day started. But I know that I flirted probably a bit too close to that line that it's not worth it. Okay. So I'm just going to back off.
Okay. Looking at that idea of kind of where you're at physically and mentally in the grand scheme of things, how about if that's something that occurs before an Open workout? For example, you know, you're doing the open on a Saturday, you're doing a first workout, and the night before you were so anxious about it, you had shit sleep, and then you didn't have your breakfast, you didn't have everything perfectly in place. Would you, I mean, there's a few things you could do. Would you take it easy in that workout? Would you delay it to another day? Would you just push no matter what because it's the time that you decided to do it? How would you like approach that?
Well, I've done all three of those things like multiple times.
That's kind of why I have those examples. I've done the same thing.
I've done all three of them.
I'm sure we are not the only ones.
Yeah, I've done all three of them. I mean, I'll give you some stories. Like, there's been times where I've like woken up with a horrendous cold, you know, or like some form of like respiratory infection.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm so damn stressed leading up to the open. My immune system's compromised.
Yeah.
And then you just catch everything, right? And I've come into workouts and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. 3 coffees, get 3 espressos down me, get some beta alanine in me, turn some really loud music up and just do it. And when you get, adrenaline is an amazing friend. It can get you through anything.
Yeah.
The problem is the aftermath of that. So when you do that, you're going to get through the workout, but what's required for your body to bounce back to healthy again is exponentially more than if you're healthy. So I have that foresight now to know that I know I can probably do this if I just get hyped up. Adrenaline will get me through it, but what's the impact of that? Now, if that's week 1 of the open, I've got 2 more weeks. I'm definitely going to think about longevity because I want to be good in week 2 and week 3. And I'm thinking about the quarterfinals. If I'm thinking about the semifinals, you know, for athletes who are listening, who are targeting that, then I'm definitely going to be like, it's not worth taking that risk.
Yeah. Okay.
That I have also done times where I've just taken it easy. And then the problem with taking it easy is you end up still doing a hard-ish training session, but it's not good enough to be a score submission. So you know you're going to have to do it again. And you also know that you didn't actually go hard enough to know how you can improve it. Because you didn't actually get a true feel for what the workout felt. So it ended up just being a waste. So I don't do that. If I'm going to do an open workout, because I really only do open workouts. My goal is to do open workouts once and once only.
Same.
Right. Last year I ended up repeating a workout just because I wanted to prove to myself that I could push myself a bit harder because I was just sandbagging the shit out of every workout.
We had a thing about that too last year. It was the last workout. It was the handstand push-up, double unders, and the snatches, and we both got kind of fucked before 185.
Yeah, I hadn't played with the new standard enough.
Yeah.
So I did my handstand push-ups really narrow.
Okay.
What we talked about today.
Oh, right,
thumbs.
yeah.
I went index fingers on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these are hard. So I mean, I struggle with that movement anyway, but they were really hard. And then after speaking to Ant, he was like, oh, I just played with this with my thumbs and it was way easier. And I tried one. I'm like, oh, that was way easier.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I can't not do that workout again now because I know I do a lot better. But generally speaking, I do the workouts once. And so if I'm only going to do it once, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it 100% as best I can.
Is there a case for doing it as best as you can and you still should redo it?
For some people, for sure.
Because of the qualification?
Yeah. For some, let's say, for example, you are... Okay, let's numerous goals here. Number 1, like your goal is to just do your absolute best and get the best score each week.
Right.
What I'll say is that pretty much everyone, if you're someone who thinks about strategy intelligently, is going to do better when you redo a workout. Now, there's some workouts that becomes very hard. Like if it's a very brutal, really heavy taxing workout, for some people, 2 full days of recovery is not enough to be able to do it again. But if it's like a skill limiter or it's just a poor strategy or, you know, mindset wasn't right, generally speaking, you can get up 2 days later and come back and do it again. Depends on the individual, of course.
Okay.
So yeah, in that case, you know, if your goal is just to do the best you possibly can in each workout, I always say to everyone, like, do each workout twice. Like, it's a great experience. I think everyone should, like, if you want to be an competitive athlete in CrossFit as well, and you're newer to the sport, like if you see yourself wanting to do this for a long time, I think that whole process of doing a workout, reflecting, reviewing, building a better strategy, resting, recovering, and then doing it again is a great experience that everyone should go
within
through.
that same weekend or like later on in the season?
Well, within that same weekend, as in doing each workout twice.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, like that's one of the ways I got really good at pacing and being able to help people strategize workouts is that I just gamified every single workout.
Yeah.
You know, I would do the workout and give it like a good nudge on a Friday. Then I would review my video and I would write down, you know, have a stopwatch in my hand and time every single rep, every single transition, every single set, and basically have a spreadsheet just of numbers. and I would just make it a maths equation.
Jeez.
Okay, like what was my drop off for each round?
Yeah.
If I wanted to do these 10 rounds faster, what if I just went with this moderate pace right from the very start? What would that equate to on my final time? Oh, that would make me finish it 30 seconds faster, and it would hurt a lot less. All right, I'm going to do that. And so I would come into my repeats and I just have someone on a stopwatch, and I just write down on a piece of paper, hey, just tell me when to start each movement. It was literally just like so mechanical. I didn't have to think about anything. Just hearing someone saying, start now. Okay, I do my chest to bars. Start now. Start my burpees.
Yeah.
And it was just basic. And I knew if I just listen to them, I'm going to get 30 seconds faster.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to get 34 seconds faster.
Yeah.
So by me doing that for the first like 4 or 5 years of CrossFit Opens, I got really good at strategizing. I started really understanding it. So I think that's a good thing for people to do. And then the last example is if you're trying to make a cutoff, right? If you're trying to make top 25% quarterfinals, as an example, or you're trying to make your age group, then, and you're a bubble athlete, you might be around the 20 to 30% cutoff and 25% qualify, then it's worth doing each workout twice. And if you qualify, bonus, like then just have fun.
Yeah.
But if you're like top 1% or easily within that buffer, then I would say don't bother.
Okay. Strategy is going to be one of the key things for the Open. We all know that.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to be putting out, by the way, strategy videos every Friday.
With little testers between two of the coaches.
Yeah, so we're going to have two coaches throw down.
That's right.
Straight away after the workout comes out, different coaches each week.
Are you going to be involved in that as an athlete?
I think I'm taking on Ant. I mean, Ant's taking on me. I should reframe.
Hey, man.
So it's Ed against Ant. I think we have Meg and Mark, our two newest coaches. Welcome, by the way, Meg and Mark. Love you guys. They're going to be going head to head, I think, week 1. And I think we have Karan and Skulk week 2. Okay. So coach is going to throw down straight away. Then we will do a video basically commentating on their workout and providing strategy and tips to help you guys crush your first attempt.
Yeah. So with that in mind, because there's always like that buzz of the open workout, can you walk me through how you process through a open workout in the sense of you see it at the announcement, and then from that point until execution, what is like your quick list of the things that you do to make sure that you're going to do well for it?
Yeah, nice. Well, I think now it's different because I see the workout and then I think within 2 hours I'm doing the workout. When I was taking the open more seriously, I would do the workout. So I had a few years where I did the open workout on a Saturday because I wanted to do it with the coastal community.
Same. Yeah.
So what I would do is I would see the workout, write down some initial thoughts. Most of my morning is spent speaking to my athletes and helping them create a strategy for their attempt. And then it would be reviewing all the data that's coming in. What are people finding, tips and strategies and tricks that they did in the workout. If there's a new movement, things they tried that worked, things they tried that didn't work. Then I would go into the gym and I'd basically play around with like versions of the workout, maybe like a broken down round of it, or just different techniques and different movements.
So like small mini dry runs.
Yeah, basically little dry runs. And by the end of that training session, I have written down exactly what my strategy is going to be. So they come in the next day and I just execute that.
Nice.
Now it's basically I watch the live announcement. I watch those guys go to head. Having done this for so long, I think I just have generally a much better idea, and I can look at a workout straight away and roughly know how I'm going to strategize it and pace it. I'm definitely a lot less meticulous now with the planning because I'm not trying to qualify for anything. Back in the day, I was trying to qualify for regionals or the Open was used as a qualifier competition, so there's more on the line for me. But now it's just like, all right, I actually enjoy the challenge of just seeing a workout, come up with a rough strategy in my head, breaking strategy, or just go by feel, and then just go and do it. And I like seeing if I
within that day,
within 3 hours of the workout coming out. Also, I get to watch other people doing the workout. Also, I watch like the other coaches. Ant typically goes pretty soon after it comes out, and he doesn't think about much. He just gets out there and does it. And so watching other people do it is always helpful as well. I pick up tips and strategies, and then that's basically the strategizing part of how I do it now. What about you? What's your approach?
I think mine is more in line with maybe like a beginner, just because maybe I do obsess over it, but I geek out, I guess is how I would say about it. What I'll do is I'll watch the open announcement.
Oh, by the way, sorry. One more thing. If I'm speaking to other people, my advice would be watch strategy videos. So before you hit your first attempt, try find videos of people. I know you like listen to like 50, don't you?
So that's exactly my problem.
Mm.
So I'll watch the open announcement, and we're talking about the 0.0001% people doing these gigantic volume sets and just watching them do it effortlessly. And you look at that and like, yes, these are games athletes. But then I think to myself, I can probably do something like that, even though it's not realistic.
Nah,
I'll watch that and then I'll think, all right, probably not. I'll scale it back, but the way I scale it back probably won't be enough. Then I'll watch a video by Misfit. Then I'll watch a video by Wad Prep. Then I'll watch a video by like Jacob Hebner. Just all these people that they put out all the videos out, and then some of them are very like, there's a lot of overlap, and then there's a lot of like differing opinions. There's a lot of different ideas of how to work the standard. There's different ideas of how to do this, that, and the other. And then in my head is just like full of like so many things. And then I look at the strategy and then I write kind of a basic plan. And I even have it on the whiteboard. Sometimes I'll look at the whiteboard while I'm working out, but then I've realized that if I do that, then I get stuck with it. So I can't adjust, because that's exactly what happens. I'll have a strategy that is pretty much shit, and then things will fall apart, and
you don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, I've learned to live with it in the sense that I am also going to be doing it only once, because the feeling I hate is going 5 minutes into a 20-minute workout and thinking, man, this sucks. I did terribly. I'm just gonna do it again at some point, or I'll just quit. But that's the kind of mindset I don't like, because if I'm just gonna do this, I'm gonna do this one
commit.
time.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just this avalanche of information in my head of all the things I could be doing that I'm not thinking about what's best for me.
Yeah. And I think that's a great place for people to start. Like, to get to the point where you don't have to do that, and you can just look at a workout, come up with strategy pretty quickly, because you have really good awareness of the stimulus, what's being tested, and your own ability. Right. To get to that point, you need to basically do what you're doing, right? You need to geek out. You need to try loads of different things. At the end of the day, pacing it's a blend of having a strategy and then being able to be flexible in the moment. Right.
Exactly.
So, when I talked about, the old me, where I would like gamify the workout and have, every single second to every single workout written down, there is zero flexibility happening there. It is literally, I have a plan. I'm going to stick to it by the second. But that's great when you're doing repeat workouts. But I also want to be able to one of my things I want to be good at is being able to turn up to a competition, they announce a workout, and we're doing a workout in 30 minutes, and I got to be able to come up with a strategy.
Nice.
And when you're so regimented all the time and you're so stuck to a strategy, you don't hone in the skill of learning how to create a workout and then on the fly be able to adjust and adapt.
Well, Ed.
Yes, Chris.
I love that you just introduced it that way. As it sounds like you're a really good strategist.
Do you think I'm a really good strategist?
It sounds that way, and I think you execute pretty well, especially with pacing. For myself, again, I get too much bothered with the details, and I can get bogged down by that. Let's put that to the test. So, I asked Ant, who is a games athlete and also a fun workout writer, to write an open style workout, and you have not seen this. I also have not seen this. So what I want us to do is take a look at the workout and then just go in real time, strategize how to best do the workout.
Hang on, how you would best do the workout?
How either of us.
Okay, so you're going to basically say how you would attack the workout, and I'll say how I attack the workout.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Let us announce the workout. It's been right here on the whiteboard.
Let's go. This is cool.
I've not seen it at all. We are looking at 4 time at a 20-minute time cap. 24.1 could be 100 double unders, 30 snatches at 135 pounds for men, 95 pounds for women, 100 double unders, 60 toes to bar, 100 double unders, 30 clean and jerks at 135.95, 100 double unders, and 30 ring muscle ups.
I love it.
I will assume that you need to perform it as written. So from top to bottom. All right.
It's a chipper for time.
It's a chipper for time
with a
20-minute time cap.
Okay.
What is like your first impression of this, first of all?
Okay, so the first thing I'm looking at is, I don't know if it's the first thing, I'm just looking at the individual movements.
Okay.
And I'm basically looking at like how comfortable do I feel within each of those movements and the rep schemes that are being prescribed. So the first things that jump out at me is like double unders. you know, I got fairly efficient double unders, but high rep double unders when it's 100 in a set is tough for me.
And how many sets of 100?
And we've got 4 sets of 100 double unders.
Yeah.
And the thing that jumps to mind straight away is the CrossFit Open workout in 2019, I think it was 18 or 19.
With the muscle ups and the double unders.
Yeah, muscle ups. It was 100 double unders.
Yeah.
It was then ring muscle ups, 100 double unders, overhead squats, 100 blah, blah, blah. So I know in that workout that I had to break my double unders into sets of 25 right from the start. So the first thing I'm thinking there is like, okay, I'm breaking my double unders for sure. Then I'm thinking, okay, looking at the movements as we move through it, you know, like how is this going to feel? Like where are the bottlenecks in this workout? So the bottlenecks I'm seeing straight away is something that's going to trip a lot of people up is right at the end, 30 ring muscle ups. So people can move.
That was the first thing my eyes darted at.
Fuck. People can move
after all that.
You can move really fast to that workout because nothing really in that workout is going to be, for me, is going to be stopping me, right? I'm going to be breaking everything up. So the barbell is going to be done in singles. I know that straight away.
100%.
Double unders, I'm probably going to be breaking into 4 sets of 25 or maybe like 40, 30, 30.
Yeah.
3 sets.
I like a descending rep scheme.
Yeah, I like descending rep schemes. I'm not too attached. A lot of people feel that they like a descending rep scheme because psychologically it helps them. I'm also very cool with just like an even rep scheme across. 60 toes to bar. Okay, like what knock-on effect is toes to bar going to have for anything else in a workout? Some carries clean and jerks, not really, but really a toes to bar. If you're not careful with your management there, that's going to mess you up in the ring muscle ups.
Okay,
because you're not going to be resting. There's no rest before ring muscle ups because you're going to be working
hard. Are you basically
trying
to think of what gives you the best chance to have as much time as you need for ring muscle ups?
Because if you think about ring muscle ups, you think about 30 ring muscle ups for like decent athletes.
Yeah.
When fresh, you're looking at like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's good athletes. Those are people who are proficient with ring muscle ups. So if you throw 30 ring muscle ups into this workout, given how much they've done before that, we're not looking at 3 to 6 minutes.
Well, let's take a look at you as an individual. So like, for example, 30 ring muscle ups for me, my max unbroken set of ring muscle ups historically, I think was like 12 or something, 12 or 13. And right now, if you ask me to do this right now, I could probably do like 8 or 9 before things start getting shitty. So for me, knowing that my max is 8 or 9, I'm probably going to be doing anywhere between doubles and triples on a hard clock, like 2 or 3 every, probably 35 to 45 seconds.
Yeah.
So I don't fail a rep, because that's the part that's the worst about ring muscle ups is doing all the work and getting stuck in transition.
See, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I think putting myself on a clock is so hard to do when I've done all that work before. I have no idea how I'm going to feel. I have a rough idea of how I'm going to feel, but that's a great example for me where I'm just going to be in the moment. Yeah. What do I need to do? And
so would you like by feel your rest?
Well, what I would say is that if I think historically, I did 30 ring muscle ups for time not that long ago. I think I got 340.
Okay.
And I went 5 reps every 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Something like that. 5 unbroken reps. And I know I can maintain that, but that was fresh with nothing else. So if I factor in how I'm going to be feeling at the end of this workout, I'm probably going to start with something like a set of 5 and then just chip away. It's just going to be keeping it to small, manageable sets, making sure I'm never getting coached. For me, it's my pull that gets fatigued. It's not my dip. And there's a decent amount of shoulders and toes to bar and pulling off a floor in this workout that could potentially make my pull even more fatigued by the time I get
if you're
there.
talking about starting with a set of 5, are you going to want to try to keep a set of 5 or 4?
Nah, I'm not going to set any rules. I'm just going to be like, I'll probably start with like a set of 5 because I think I could do that. And then I'll just see how I feel.
Okay.
It's just purely by feel at that point.
Yeah.
I think other things like at the start of the work, like the double unders, I could definitely have a more strict breaking strategy in mind because that would just force me to slow down. But I mean, like 20-minute cap, if you're saying that if muscle ups realistic, if it takes me 340 to do 30 for time when I'm fresh, then I'm probably looking at like at least 5 to 6 minutes when I'm fatigued.
Yeah.
So that's 5-6 minutes. That leaves me 14 minutes to do everything else. It's not that much time. You know, I'm not worried about the cap. I'm not even thinking about the cap. I'm just thinking about,
so this is where we also differ. My big pressure for anything is, even if it's not realistic, I feel like I need to do the best I can to make it under the cap. That's for any competition workout. If I don't make the cap, then I feel like I am inadequate as an athlete to be on that competition floor.
Interesting.
So
I don't
for
feel
me-
that. I never think that.
So like I think while it's great to be able to get as far as you can, me personally, that's why I'm looking at the 30 ring muscle ups. It's like, how do I make it so that I'm fresh as possible for that? So like I'd break up the double unders into that descending volume just because, I feel like my recharge rate is pretty good. But at the same time, I always look forward to being able to do smaller sets at a time. Those snatches and clean and jerks are always going to be singles, and I'll take a breath after each rep, especially at the beginning, because I get really excited about weightlifting more than anything else.
The thing is, would you be taking a breath on the 30 clean and jerks? Because by that point, your breathing rate is probably going to be, you're going to be up at like 160, 170 beats a minute.
Yeah.
So holding yourself to a breath, because a lot of athletes do this.
Yeah.
They use their breath as a means of monitoring their recharge time between reps.
Yeah.
Thing is, your breath when you're doing the clean and jerks here is going to be completely different to your breath when you're doing your 30 snatches, because your heart rate is going to be so much
So
higher.
this is the part where I think in a similar fashion, I don't know until I get there.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens. And I think that's going to be the hard truth about some of these open workouts is you can strategize as best as you can, but you're really not going to know because this particular workout you haven't done before. So, are your calves going to be burning before those clean and jerks? And that might be a factor. Who knows?
Yeah. I would be confident saying no, that wouldn't be a factor for me.
How about like your grip, like your forearms?
No. Forearms would be fine.
All the way through.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a forearm issue for me. Definitely a toes to bar. 60 reps is a lot.
Yeah.
Breathing already. So I would, the definites I could probably say with confidence is that I'm breaking my double unders into 3-4 sets, doing my snatches and clean and jerks and singles. My toes to bar, I'll probably be breaking into like sets of like 7 to 10 right from the start. I've done lots of like 50, 60 reps consecutively. We did it in the Open last year. We started that workout.
And then what would your break between those mini sets look like?
Just by feel. I'm resting long enough to know that I can do the next set unbroken.
Yeah.
And I'm finishing the toes to bar, knowing that I'm finishing all 60.
Yeah.
Still well away from failure.
So the part that I always...
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Well, it makes sense, but the part that I don't like about rest by feel personally is in my head, I feel like, that was 5 seconds. When I watch the video, it's like 10 to 20 seconds. Because, in the workout, just everything is going so fast. And like my sense of time is just not.
If
reliable.
my rest is getting to 10 to 20 seconds,
then
I have not broke intelligently.
Yeah.
So
But you'll also feel that length.
I'll
of time.
know.
Yeah.
I'll know if I've gone too far, but I typically would not let myself get to that point. But again, this is all just about knowing.
Yeah.
Each and every one of us listening to this has to know where their capacity's at, relative to the workout itself.
Right.
Because your capacity, you can't just say, well, I'm really good at rowing 2K. So therefore I'm aerobically fit, so I should be fine this workout. No, your fitness on this workout is relative to the movements and the time domain and the loads and the rep schemes of this workout.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And so if you've never done anything like this workout, you're going to be shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be like, I have no idea. You're probably going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Or you might, by chance, just get it really right.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage of experience, right? If you're someone who's done 11 CrossFit Opens and you're someone like me who's been very meticulous about recording, reviewing, reflecting on every workout you do, not just in the Open, but I do it in every training session I do. I have a pretty solid database of experiences and memories that allows me to look at this straight away, call back on lots of past experience of doing something similar to know that, okay, I got a pretty good idea of how I'm going to do this.
Do you think you'd make it under the time cap?
Okay, so 30 snatches, 30 clean and jerks. Let's say clean and jerks would be faster, but then because it's happening later in the workout, it's probably going to be roughly ish the same time. So you're looking at what, like 4 minutes per barbell. So if I've got 4 minutes on the first barbell, 4 minutes on the second barbell, that's 8 minutes. I'm putting 6 minutes for my ring muscle ups. And now 14 minutes. So that means I've got 6 minutes to complete 400 double unders and 60 toes to bar. It'd be pretty damn tight. I don't know if I probably wouldn't complete that under the cap.
So that's the other difference between you and me is like I couldn't do the math at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially because knowing just where the fatigue is and where my breaks would probably increase.
I went conservative with those times as well.
Yeah.
I deliberately went a bit slower than I think I would do.
Would you do this workout?
Would I do it? Yeah. That looks like a really fun workout. There's no strict handstand push-ups in there.
So I kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm not pressuring you to do this. I feel like we should both do this workout to see how we actually do with our strategies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you game?
Yeah. When my knee is healthy, I'm in.
Good handshake.
Do it.
All right, Chris will win this one. Just kidding.
You wouldn't win it, mate. Destroy you in that workout.
I mean, the follow-up would...
I know what's going to happen.
Well, what do you mean? To me or to you?
I know what's happening in this workout with you. Chris is going to be in the lead at the toaster bar.
That's also true.
Yeah. And then Ed's going to sail past him at about the 30 toaster bar mark.
Chris
is going to be catching up on the double unders every set. He's going to be making some ground.
All right.
And then Chrissy's going to be failing muscle ups 10 reps in, and Ed's is going to be chuckling away.
Here's what I'm going to do to help stave off that. Before we do the workout, we're going to do a warm up that involves depth jumps. We'll do sets of 10, and then you're just going to shit the bed on that, and it'll get in your head.
I'll be in hospital.
That's my strategy. All right,
cool. Good
We'll see how that
exercise.
goes. With that in mind, I think a few things also to think about is, I guess, being able to move on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is like, how do you create a healthy relationship between yourself and the open? For me, again, it's just looking back at the values and why I'm doing this, and it's just connecting with community. And for me, I'll feel like I wouldn't have done my job if I start thinking about, my placement on the leaderboard, being able to be better than someone else, or being able to be better than I was last year. It's trending like it is. So there will be some of that disappointment if, like, this year, my placement in the 35 to 39 category is lower than it was last year. But at the same time, the most important part is being able to live.
Can I just ask you about that though? Yeah. Because the tough thing about the open and using year-on-year placings as a metric of your progress is that the tests are never the same.
Yeah.
Right. So like I can look at last year's CrossFit Open,
right,
and I had in terms of like my placement on the leaderboard, probably one of the lowest open finishes I've ever had, because I had a 1 rep max thruster, which is like in anything like pressing overhead is a weakness for me. And there was out of the 4 workouts, there's a 1 rep max thruster and there's a strict handstand push-up workout.
Yeah.
So half the workouts were my 2 biggest weaknesses I got exposed in. So then, I could look at that and be like, oh my God, like I've regressed. That's one of the lowest open placings I've ever had.
Yeah, I hear you.
But then I did the quarterfinals and I probably had one of the highest placing I've ever had in the quarterfinals worldwide.
Yeah.
So then it's like, because the tests can favor you or they might not.
Yeah.
And as well, like, who knows what happens on a day? Like you said, what if you had a terrible night's sleep the night before? You had nothing to give. You've been crushing workouts all year.
I mean, it's funny that you're asking me this, because that's exactly what happened last year. For better, for worse, I was definitely looking at how you were doing in the workouts relative to how I was doing. That's part of why I retested the last workout, was because we both kind of got stuck in the same place.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could probably do it again and get the snatches.
I think you beat me, didn't you? You got 2 snatches.
I got 2 snatches to your 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that ended the open for us, where I did better relatively to you, especially because of the thruster and because of, just those particular workouts I did stronger in. So I came into quarterfinals thinking, all right, here we go.
Gonna smash him again.
This is the year. And then, like, the only part of the quarterfinals where I beat you in was the first part of the first workout with the box jumps and the wall facing and the push-ups, right? Yeah. Everything else, you just sailed through it. Now I was just shitting the bed left and right. Because I think one of the workouts was like bench presses at 185. My 1 rep max is like 92 or something like that kg. So the idea of me being able to do 20 reps smoothly or at all in a workout, I mean, for me, it was a win just to be able to get through the workout under the time cap. But yeah, to your point, because the nature of the test are always changing, and because the biases are always going to be different, even though I would trust that CrossFit HQ is trying to make this as even of a spread in terms of abilities and capacities, and being able to create an even playing field.
I think they do. I think they do a pretty good job with that.
I mean, I think they write these workouts way ahead of time, and they revisit them.
It's just tough. You got 4 workouts. Yeah. You're never going to have 4 perfectly balanced workouts.
But at the same time, I mean, when you asked me to look at my leaderboard positions from the last few years, I didn't notice until now that, like, my age group placements have been improving every year, and before that, like, my open placements were improving every year. That's just a natural progression when you get better at the sport, right? But yeah, I am going to walk into this definitely with some pressure in the back of my head of like, all right, I saw where I am at in the 35 to 39.
Yeah.
I'm 38 this year. I guess I could still be improving, or it becomes that law of like attrition of like the older you get in age category, the lower in leaderboard you're going to get, and maybe I'll just hedge my bets on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's the funny thing with the Open and the relationship that people have is when you have a global leaderboard, you know, and that's different from your, you know, your weekend workouts or whatever, your box programming, where your leaderboard is just like the few people in the room with you. This one is everyone out there that's in the sport. That's where I think the relationship to the sport is, I don't know, it's particular for better or for worse, right? Because I think the open workouts, and this was a question I was asking, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer to it. The open workouts themselves, I don't think they're like special in the sense that we do Saturday testers, and they're going to be hard weekend workouts, and they're going to ask you to push and grind in places where you're really uncomfortable. And we just, because of the Open and because of the leaderboard format and because of the season consequences, we are going to push ourselves harder than we ever have. So it's because of that I believe we have a special relationship with the Open workouts. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's the whole idea of why we created Saturday Testers.
Yeah.
Give people a chance to practice all year round. And it's not just, it doesn't mean the Saturday Testers are there so that you go as hard as you would in the Open.
Right.
But it's the fact that we released a workout 2 days before.
Yeah.
You got 2 days to think about a strategy.
Yeah.
It's a fact that we release movement standards with the workout. We create a lot of hype around the workout.
Yep.
We post it on social media.
Yep.
It gets sent around. Everyone's thinking about the Saturday tester 2 days in advance. And then it's just like it's always like good energy, kind of like an open workout. Everyone's fired up on a Saturday. It's a weekend. People are up for going hard. They can rest tomorrow. And because the structure of those workouts, we go off script basically. You know, we have generally structure Monday to Friday, but Saturday we just kind of, it still kind of fits within the week, but it doesn't necessarily fit within the cycle. We're doing like CrossFit Open style workouts, quarterfinal style workouts all year long. So yeah, I think the whole idea of that was to get people to excel in the Open. But I just want to go back to, you know, what we were just talking about, which is using the leaderboard to define or chart your progress. I think it's a really tough thing to do. Unless you're an athlete who is so well-rounded, which really we're talking about like the 10 athletes that make it to the games every year. If you're not one of those 10, you're not well-rounded, I'm sorry to say.
Right.
That there is no weaknesses for you, then maybe the Open workouts and your placing is a more accurate reflection of where you're at. So someone like Matt Fraser, like he's probably setting out to win the Open every single year, as an example.
Right.
But you know, when I look at my places and I have our placings pulled up, you know, if I go back to 2019, you know, I finished 950th in the world in Open age group. Then the next year I finished 1,521st. The next year I finished 2,476. So I'm getting worse every year here. Then I pulled it back a bit, 2,279th.
Yeah.
And then last year, 8,194th because of those two workouts, right? So if I look at that and I can be like, wow, like I've gone backwards. And I'll go back to my very first year of the Open, 2,441st in the world. The next year, after hiring a coach, going all in, try to make it back to regionals as an individual, I finished 5,538. So I dropped 2,500 places in the world because they programmed the cleaner jet 1 rep max. Yeah. And I didn't even hit, I think I hit 100. And that was like, I was like 100,000th in the world. Yeah. And then the next year I finished 18,223rd because I was in hospital for week 3. Okay. So I missed that workout. But you know, this is why the leaderboard, and what I will say is I think I've gotten my skills and efficiency in all the movements have gotten better every single year. I'm definitely not as aerobically fit as I was maybe a few years ago. But because I'm more efficient and I'm a smarter strategizer, I can do just as well in workouts that I did when I was way fitter. And I'm stronger than I was back then. So when I look at all those things in isolation, and I look at my training, I know my training and my data tells me I'm getting better still. But if I then use the Open leaderboard to give me confirmation as to whether or not I've gone better, my case in point, terrible example. You know, the years I did really well in, my weaknesses weren't exposed. Yeah. I got lucky with the workouts, strict handstand push-ups, and a heavy jerk wasn't tested. In the years that I did not as good as that year where I finished top 1,000 world, they were programmed and I was exposed. Now, it sounds like I'm saying this like I've got this crazy weakness that I never address. I work on those things all the time.
Yeah.
And my strict handstand push-ups now compared to any other year before are so much better than they've ever been. So I know that I put in the work. Now, when a strict handstand push-up workout comes up, which it probably will,
Yep.
I know I'm not going to finish in the top 5,000s in the world, because my weakness relative to the rest of the world is still a fairly long way back. But that's not going to take away from the fact that I know how much progress I've made in that. And I'm always excited when the handstand push-up workout comes out.
As an opportunity to express.
I'm like, okay, this is a great chance for me to try do something that I've always struggled with and I've put so much work into. I really don't give a shit about Leaderboard.
Yeah.
I just want to give this workout a go and see if I can make some improvements and make myself proud.
I mean, I think maybe that's probably like part of like the special sauce of the Open, as it were, is at the end of the day, regardless of the leaderboard, it really is your chance to just express what you can do.
Yeah.
Right. There's always countless stories of people who PR a lift or get their first muscle up, and it's in a crowded room of people who've been cheering you on for the last 20 seconds trying to get that single muscle up or something like that. So there is a nice perspective of that, of like, this is for everyone, regardless of your games level athlete, or this is your first Open and you're going to be doing the foundations version. It's just your chance to put yourself into a room and do hard work.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what your weaknesses are, and you need to embrace it, because those workouts are not going to change. Yeah, you can do the scaled version, whatever, but you're still going to be doing something that's going to be exposing your weaknesses.
Yeah. At the end of the day, to get your best result, which is ultimately what we all want to do, we just want to get the best result possible.
Yeah.
Focusing your time and energy on things like the leaderboard and what everyone else is doing and what everyone else is thinking about you is only going to take away from your ability to express your best performance.
Yeah.
So if you can just recognize that, catch yourself when you are finding that your thoughts are moving towards things like the leaderboard, other people, expectations of yourself, catch yourself doing it, say to yourself, this is not serving me. This is not helping me. Bring yourself back to present, which is, what can I do? What's within my control? And, put all your attention and energy into that. That's going to be a recipe for success.
Right on. I like the sound of all of that. At the same time, I mean, I think I didn't think about it until we started having this conversation. Like, now I'm like, I have an extra fired up mentality of the Open and being able to destroy what it is that we need to take over for each of the workouts, and being able to do really well in my age group and whatever.
Yeah, I would genuinely say 2015, that year, where I'd put so much, similar to you. I did my first Open, did pretty well, qualified as an individual to regionals, having known nothing, and then suddenly thought like, okay, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going to CrossFit Games. Hired a coach, took it so seriously all year. When I say so seriously, like, to my detriment, I took it seriously. Where like, I sacrificed a lot of things. I developed a really unhealthy relationship with training. Yep. I got really injured because of that. Yeah. And then I basically had this terrible year where basically second workout, clean and jerk, 100 mats comes out. And then I'm just like so bummed. I'm like blaming the rest of the world and come up with all these pathetic excuses. I'm not taking ownership. And I just realized in that moment that I put myself in this position. Yeah. And then for the rest of that Open, I stopped because of that. My ego was so hit that I was no longer on the first page in the CrossFit Open. My ego took such a battering that I just said, right, I'm not going to look at the leaderboard for the rest of this Open. I'm just going to do the workouts. And I did that, and I had so much fun in the rest of it in workouts. I didn't look at the leaderboard once. Yeah. Finished Open, and then I think one of my colleagues was like, mate, you finished like, in the top 50 in Asia in like the next 4 workouts. If you didn't have that one terrible workout, you could have gone to regionals. And I was like, isn't that interesting? After that first workout, I placed zero expectation in anything. I just was present and tried to have fun. And that allowed me to unlock new levels of performances that I wasn't able to unlock previously. So it was a good wake-up call to me to be like, if I put my focus, my energy and thoughts on something else other than the leaderboard and my ego and what the rest of the world thinks about me, maybe that's actually the recipe to being more successful. And so then, from that year onwards, I started saying, right, I'm going to do each workout once. going to try build a better relationship with the leaderboard. I'm going to give it my best effort. I'll practice it on a Friday, execute it on a Saturday. And that was like the turning point for me in my relationship with the leaderboard and the Open, and how I attacked it all changed after 2015.
So I'm listening to what you're saying. And the part for me that I think I always struggle with is, I mean, I'm paying $20 for this, right? And part of it is to get on the leaderboard. So for me, it's still important.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know how to let that go.
What about the $20?
Yeah.
What about this $20 thing makes the leaderboard more important to you?
I mean, I think it doesn't matter what the cost is. I mean, it used to be $10 and whatever, but just the idea that like I'm committing to this thing, and part of that is you get to have this access to how you are relative to other people. And I feel like maybe that's something that I continually will struggle with. And I just need to be able to just kind of be able to compartmentalize better. I mean, the function of the leaderboard is to compare yourself to not just yourself from previous years, but to everyone else. And as much as I don't want to look at the leaderboard, I know like once a day I'm probably going to be checking in, like how much my score has fallen from Tuesday to Thursday, because they're verifying scores and all that shit.
Can I ask you, Chris, in other aspects of your life, maybe it's like social media or even professionally in your job and your career, how much does the opinion of other people factor in to your life?
If we're going to be completely honest, 100%. Like I cannot stand if I know that someone doesn't like me.
Yeah.
Like I thought I'm a good person. I'm kind. I'm complimentary. I make people laugh. I cheer people on, and you don't like me? What the fuck is wrong with you?
And then you probably do everything you can to make that person like you.
Oh man. Yes. Yeah. 100%. So I don't know what do you think the relationship?
So where I'm going with this is that, you know, if you're, it sounds like, you know, and this isn't a dig or an insult at all, because there 100% there's still parts of my life that I can feel myself still attaching my worth to what other people think. Right? Whether it's popularity, you know, at school it was all about popularity, being the popular kid, and so I'll do anything to try and impress everyone because my ego needed it. Right? Professionally, when I first started working, not even first started working, like I still probably think only recently I've been able to break away from the chains of this, but you know, wanting people to know that I was a really hard worker and what I'd achieved professionally. When I was an athlete, you know, holding on to the fact that I was a Hong Kong rugby player, that I qualified to regionals, that, you know, fill in the blank, you know, all of these labels were such a big part of my identity, because I thought that without the labels, people wouldn't like me or think I was worth anything. And I'm just at a point now where I know my self-worth has got nothing to do, in my own eyes, it's got nothing to do with my labels, nothing to do with my job, nothing to do with my past accomplishments, but it's like who I am as a person, and that's what I'm most proud of, right? It's my values, it's the way I hold myself every day. That's what I want people to love me for, and if people don't love me for that, then that's all right, they're just not my people. And because of that, it wasn't until I built a good relationship with loving myself that I was able to then not let things like the leaderboard really affect me. Because at the end of the day, the leaderboard was just doing exactly that. The thing that I was struggling with in all the other aspects of my life, which is like seeking validation from others, is exactly what the leaderboard does. Right? It was, I wanted people to validate that I was fucking good and I was worth listening to, and that I was a good coach because I'm fit. And now I'm like, you know what? That's not what defines me.
I think this provides a really good opportunity for people who have those, you know, those relations, like that type of dependency relationship between yourself and kind of where you are on a podium or whatever list it is. And looking back, I think what does help me to put perspective on it is like the most important people in my world, meaning my family. If I ever asked them what my placing was in anything, they probably wouldn't even know. They probably wouldn't even know I did a workout, actually. So like, case in point, my kids, they'll be like, we won't even talk about it. They'll be like, "Oh, are you gonna help me? Are you gonna help me practice my violin or something like that? Or can we play this, that, or the other?" So it does provide really good perspective now that I do have a family, and you know, I have a family at home that they want to play and they want to do all these different things. I want to be there for them.
And what I'll say as well, Chris, on that is that even if they did follow your progress in the Open and they loved geeking out the leaderboard,
oh, they're going to.
If you didn't do well, they would still love you just as much.
Yeah.
Really, they would. You know, the things that they would probably want to see daddy doing is like having a good time and still being a good person and showing up authentically.
Yeah.
Even though he had a result maybe he didn't want. That's what they care about.
For sure.
Right. No one actually cares about your result. And if they do care about your result, well then they're probably not people you want to have in your life anyway.
My children.
Yeah. I realized as I came out of my mouth. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what I mean.
This is not working.
Yeah.
out,
Not with the. Sorry, kids. It's been good.
Yeah. So like, not to be cheesy about it, not to be like, I guess very like stereotypical dad about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, having family is such a good thing for perspective.
Yeah.
And even something like this that I, you know, being a naturally competitive person, that helps kind of really cut that off.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be something I'll need to really focus in on as these weeks progress.
Yeah.
And you know, like we were talking about at the beginning of this episode, is just like making sure that I'm healthy, you know, for myself and for my family and for the people that are important to me and the things that I want to do, and do like bidding myself 1 to 3 times in a weekend for for a leaderboard that yes I might have paid into, like what's that really worth, right? So just having that continuous conversation with myself.
Yeah, and just catching yourself when you do it. And if it's something that you want to change about yourself, then you just have that reflection at the end of every day. Like, did I do it again? I did. Okay. Well, how can I change that tomorrow?
Yeah, that's right.
The truth is, like, I didn't even know until you just said it. I don't think I even knew that you beat me in the Open. Like, I didn't even look at anyone else.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah. You screenshot it. It's framed on your wall, isn't it? Chris, this has been good. You got any other questions?
No, other than do you have a goal for the season?
I want to
like a defined goal. Not like I want to have a great time. Like
I never say that. Honestly, when people say I want to have fun, I'm like, okay, I love the intention of that goal.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how do you have fun?
Yeah.
Tell me the last time you had a fun workout.
Yeah. I think that's it's more of an intention. That's an intention more than a goal.
Yeah, but you still, to create the intention to have fun.
Yeah.
You can't create an intention to have fun.
I think I can.
Go on, how would you have fun?
I think you saw it this morning. Just like kind of just making sure that everyone is like giving them positive affirmations one way or another of like look, we got 10 seconds left until this next interval of doing whatever handstand push.
So you want to be shouting and cheering everyone else on mid CrossFit Open workout for you?
I think I do it naturally no matter what.
And if you did that and that meant that you had a really poor placing because you were just fucking about hyping up everyone else, would you be happy?
Yeah, so that's a question that we'll have.
See, you probably wouldn't have fun.
I think
given how much importance you just placed on the leaderboard, that would not be a fun workout. I think in reflection, you'd be disappointed to be like, Chris, you should just focus on your own thing. You end up hyping up everyone else, not even focusing on your own workout.
Well, I think especially after this conversation, I'll have the opportunity in mind to grow from that. Yeah. And like if I had a shitty workout, I had a shitty workout.
Well, I'll tell you what constitutes to me having a fun workout is when I prepare effectively.
Yeah.
I create an intention and I execute to the best of my ability. Those are always the most fun workouts. And those things don't sound like fun.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's my most enjoyable experiences are when I do that. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
If I have a workout where I'm not prepared, I'm like second guessing myself. I've got negative self-talk because I haven't done anything leading up to it. And then I just do this workout. I'm not satisfied with the result. There could be people laughing and great music playing with my community, but I'm not going to look back on that and be like, that was really fun. That was shit because I didn't execute on the things that I could have controlled,
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's important. That's my definition of fun.
Right.
So if you're someone who is saying my goal is to have fun this Open, define what that means.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we had this conversation with our affiliates recently, which is like, we want to make our classes fun.
Yeah. I'm
like, cool. What does that mean? Like, you playing games? Yeah, I'm like, well, when I go into a CrossFit class and we just play games for 10 minutes, that's not fun for me because I'm here to work out.
Okay.
I don't want to have a good workout experience.
Yeah.
So what is fun? Like, tell me, what was the last time you went to a class and you had fun? Oh, like the coach was on time. He delivered a really great warm up. It was really clear what the intentions were. Because of that, people were having a bit of a laugh. And I'm like, okay, well then, what constitutes of fun is like preparation, organization, clear communication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have to be able to define what those things are.
Yeah, but I think that's the other thing is like the definition is individual.
It's individual, yeah. So I just define what fun is to me.
Yeah.
You've defined what fun is to you, which I'm going to challenge you on because I don't think it's really what you think is
Dude,
going to constitute fun.
I'm 100%.
Nah, I don't think so. Okay, I want to see you mid-open workout.
Okay.
Like having a laugh, joshing around, being like,
Let's
hey, 3, 2, 1, guys, get ready to go. If I don't see that, Chris, I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Another
You
challenge.
probably will.
That's like 2 challenges in one workout.
Yeah, so my goal is, that was a massive side tangent, but my goal is this year to be healthy. Like what being healthy means to me is that I can do the workout more or less pain-free.
Yeah.
And I can bounce back to normal life within a day or 2.
Okay.
Like if it takes me a month to bounce back, which has happened before, that's not fun. So that's number 1. Number 2, I want to qualify the quarterfinals. I'm looking forward to being a part of the quarterfinals of this new format, top 25%. Not sure how it's going to look like, but I envision that's going to be a really cool community thing because we're going to have loads of people from our gym, I'm pretty sure, who are going to be qualifying in the top 25%. Loads of people in the process programming who maybe will decide to come to Coastal and do it with us.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. And yeah, just do my best. I know if I'm healthy, then I'll be able to, do myself proud in every workout. If I'm not healthy, that's going to be not fun.
I hear that.
Yeah. What about you? What's your goal? Beat Ed.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, please.
I was thinking about what my goal is for the Open, or just for the season in general. But for like the last 7 minutes, I've had to take a really mad piss, so my focus has been a little bit elsewhere.
Okay, cool.
So after I take a piss, I'll have a better idea of what my goals are.
Nah, mate, but the listeners aren't going to sit
an essential goal would be definitely making it to quarterfinals and being able to be here in Coastal Fitness for quarterfinals. I think the part that's always missing from these online workouts, qualifiers or anything, is like you're just doing them online. And in my sense, it's usually going to be doing it by myself in the gym that I'm at in Shenzhen. But if I could do it with people who have that drive and determination to kind of push me to have that same like focus, it's just like there's like a magic in that that you can't replicate in training. Like you're saying about competition, it breeds you accessing this deep strength or skill set or capacity that you have. Yeah. So with that in mind, I'm more than sure that my season for the CrossFit Games season will end at quarterfinals. That's where I'm at in my skill set.
Top 200 in the age group, mate. Go to semis. Where were you last in your age group?
Not that close.
Here we go. Chris Toil's in the quarterfinals. Oh
like
no,
1,000. It's like 1,000 or so.
You were 4,000.
4,000.
4,000. Wow.
Yeah.
You really crushed the Open.
That's what.
We were really close. We were really close in the Open. You were 8,171st.
Yeah.
And I was 8,194th.
Wow. I barely beat you in the Open. You crushed me in the quarterfinals for the age group.
Oh, hang on. No, I was looking at the wrong thing there. Age group. 2,000. No, how's that right? Oh, quarterfinal. Age group quarterfinals. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. Age group quarterfinals. Chris Toil's
Don't forget that I really have to take a piss.
Yeah, 1,082nd. 1,082nd. 82. Ed Haynes, 293. Top 200 go to semi-finals.
Ooh, you got a chance for this year.
Unlikely. Okay, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me, my friend. I want to say as well on air, thank you so much for doing an amazing job whilst I was away.
This is our first episode together since then.
And it's great to have you back. I'm really happy that you're healthy, and it's lovely to see your lovely face again.
I had a lot of fun having this conversation.
Until next time, my friend.
See you, buddy.